What's up YouTube, it's right here in my Cosmoman deck profile before we get Cosmo Scarf, whenever that is, and supposedly we're not getting it next month, so we'll see what happens. So, Cosmoman, not even my ER. Someone was supposed to buy it from my friend, but I just took it because I would be shipping it and he never bought it yet. It's been like 2-3 weeks now. Going into the deck, I'll start just with the size zeros. We're playing 3 of the Team Alpha because reduces the size, the call cost of your Exalts, which is really helpful because they have some pretty high costs, and it lets you use your gauge for other things, though you can get gauge very easily in this deck as well. And the awkward thing is you can only call it to the left. His other effect of souls not being able to be dropped is kind of nice, but it usually doesn't happen. Yeah, that's about it. And then for Falcons, this one is just nice because it's like deck filtering and searching for things you might need. It's not a named once per turn, so you can kind of just keep going if you really want to, and just deck thin to deck win. Then we're playing 4 Hydra Mariners because it's really good. Worst case is it's a free gauge on call if you have another galaxy thingy. Yes, sir. Can't really read upside down. And yeah, anyway, it can get you the gauge, but if you have the transform, you get draw as well. And then running 2 heavy spiders. It's a pretty cool card since it nullifies the abilities of cards that are in combat with it. Plus, if you destroy a monster, you draw a card. It's kind of nice. And it has double attack with like 7,000 power, so it hits quite hard. And then also, I'm playing 2 of the Horizon Fires. This one is when it attacks, you can destroy a card and burn for 1. So it's just kind of nice to get rid of problem cards on the board. And then, of course, we're playing 4 Cosmoman. Love swinging for 5 crit on the first turn when a lot of decks don't have shields that can be used on the first turn. And then 3 Cosmo 9s because giving our Cosmoman penetrate is pretty good, and having triple attack is nice. And Cosmoman not being able to be arrested is also nice because barbed wire and cards are rude. Funny story, I barbed wire Cosmoman many a times at qualifiers. And then lastly, the Dracos. Basically it just becomes a size 0, which means you could have that and 9 on the field and you can just kind of go nuts. Or with 9 you can have a Horizon Fire or Heavy Spider. So you have a lot of attacks and good cards on the field. And plus it's an Exalt. Worst case, you can transform into it. Spells. 4 Cosmo Flasher, searches Cosmoman. Pretty self-explanatory. 3 of the Key of Justice, because draw 2s are nice. We don't play 4 because we don't want to brick any more than we already do. 3 of the Set Spell. I've been playing around with ratios of 3 and 4. It's kind of rough because I like a lot of cards in the deck. But yeah, it protects your Galaxy Exalts from being destroyed, so that's kind of the most important thing. Plus, the extra power and defense comes in handy because it makes them have to link attack you more often, and you can actually hit better numbers. And they stack. And then, of course, 4 of the best pseudo shield thing, Cosmo Barrier. You just counter to something on their turn so they can't spell null you, and you'll be taking 1 damage for every thing that's coming at you for that turn. Except for like those impacts that can't be reduced. Feels bad. Looking at you, Garga and friends. 3 superhero times. Just gauge and searching for cards that you might want in your hand from the top 3, as opposed to just hard drawing cards. So it's kind of nice like that. Hard ones per turn, so I don't want to play 4 because I don't want to draw too many and be stuck on them. 2 hyper energies because you can get gauge pretty easily between like superhero times, Cosmo Flasher, reducing your call costs / transform costs with the Team Alpha, and the Mariners giving you gauge. So there's a lot of ways to get gauge, and plus you don't want to be stuck on dead hyper energies because they're just kind of like awkward sometimes where you don't even need to use them. And then 2 Futiles as an extra shield against those decks where you actually need some real defense and blocking, because they can actually push enough attacks to make those pings for 1 actually something, and this can get you back some life. And then we're playing 3 Spell Nulls, because Spell Nulls are really good and you can afford to play them in the main deck because of all the gauge you can get. And lastly, 2 of the Impact. It's alternate win con outside of just punching face. It's really slow though, because of course you need to have 1 or less souls, so it might just end up getting charged and draw out or something, or pitched for cost for the Falcon. But it can get you games. It's just a nice option there. And the fact that it is a Galaxy Exile and Galaxy Team Defense, so you can even grab it off of the Falcon as well, outside of pitching for it. So yeah, it's kind of nice. But that's basically the entire deck. I won't go over the side deck. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys later.